America, I really prefer this because since I saw it, I lived for a year in Taiwan during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And by the end of my stay there, I was like, I prefer to live in America.
What was the major difference?
The major difference to me was that socially, just the way you interact socially with your lifestyle in Asia, it's significantly more conservative than the West, right? Like, there's so much more groupthink, there's so much more peer pressure. Everybody rolls in groups, and it's just like, you're not really an individual even within the groups. And then people want you to, like, subscribe to this. You can't hang out with everybody. You got to be like part of this group or that group. And then
So that's a cultural thing.
I think it was very cultural, and I also just think the EQ in Asia is very rule-based when it comes to, like, emotional intelligence. Like, we have very, very specific manners. Like, the youngest person is going to pour tea. Your father eats first. Like, even in language, something very simple, which is if your mother's mom, you just be like, that's grandma. In ours, the name for your mother's mom is like Lolo. The name for your father's mom is Nai Nai. It's very specific, and there's a hierarchy. Like, your father's mom is higher, your mother's mom is lower. And it's just, to me, I'm like, yo, this is too much critical analysis of, like, stature. And then your interactions with people are so much based on your standing in society versus theirs. And everybody acts in accordance with this kind of, like, agreed upon status. It's borderline caste system-y. And then when there isn't, like, racial diversity either there, it's all Asian people, I was just like, this is a little too cloying for me. But when I look at the government, like China as a government out there, and I was living in Taiwan, spent a lot of time in China. My family, my brother still lives in China. But the Chinese government, to me, is much more effective than the American government. Like, if it wants to get something done, China's going to have it done in 24 hours. You know, the building may fall apart, but it'll be done. You know, but they can get things done. And then I also think, like, you know, they're not a benevolent country. No country's benevolent. It's all a business, right? They're competing for citizens. But their type of feudalism and, like, colonialism compared to American colonialism, I think I would prefer if I was the country being shitted on. Like, America will take you over. It will, you know, they'll send the CIA and they'll do all those things we've seen in all the countries.